The training hall was wide and cold, made of smooth, dark metal that reflected soft white lights from the ceiling. Rows of seats rose in steps filled with young cadets from many worlds. Their shapes were different. Some were tall and thin, some were short and wide. Some had scales, some had fur. Some had skin that changed color with mood. They all wore the same simple uniform, gray with a thin blue line at the collar. This was the Interstellar Academy, where future officers learned how the galaxy truly worked. At the front of the hall stood a large, clear screen. Symbols and lines moved slowly across it. Beside the screen was a long metal table with a scanner built into its surface. The scanner was old but powerful. It could read energy levels, muscle density, bone strength, reflex speed, and threat response. It was often used during lessons to prove points, not to train. The lesson today was about Earth. Most cadets leaned forward with interest. Earth was famous, but not in a proud way. It was known as a young world, loud and emotional, full of conflict. Humans were known for their short lives and soft bodies. Many thought Earth's place in the academy was more political than practical. The instructor stepped forward. He was calm, tall, and pale, with eyes that never blinked. His voice was smooth and slow. "Humans," he said, "are a study in contradiction. They believe themselves strong, yet their bodies are fragile. They speak of courage, yet fear pain deeply."
Images appeared on the screen. Human cities.
Human machines, human soldiers in armor. They rely on tools, the instructor continued. Without them, they are limited. Their strength comes from numbers and noise, not from nature. Others whispered quietly. In the third row sat the Earth cadet. She sat straight, hands resting on her knees, eyes forward. Her uniform fit tightly around her shoulders and arms. Her dark hair was tied back simply. Her face showed no anger, no pride, no fear. She listened. The instructor glanced at her only once, then looked back at the class. "Today," he said, "we will demonstrate why humans are classified as low threat when unarmed." He tapped the scanner. A murmur moved through the hall. "This is a lesson," he added. "Nothing more." Two assistant cadets rolled a small platform forward. On it was a training emitter, weak and safe. It was used to show energy reactions. The instructor adjusted the scanner and the emitter together. "We will measure response," he said. The Earth cadet felt something tighten in her chest. Not fear, awareness. She had learned long ago that lessons were not always what they claimed to be. The instructor pointed toward her. "You," he said. "Step forward." The hall went quiet. She stood and walked down the steps. Her boots made soft sounds against the metal floor. She stopped in front of the table and scanner. "Place your hand above the field," the instructor said. She did. The scanner activated with a low hum. Light wrapped around her hand. Lines and numbers appeared on the screen. At first, the readings were normal. Heart rate steady, muscle density average.
Bone strength within expected range.
The instructor spoke calmly. "As you see, nothing exceptional." The hum deepened. Numbers shifted. One line spiked slightly, then settled. The Earth cadet's eyes narrowed just a little. The instructor frowned. "That is odd," he said. The scanner spiked again. Higher this time. The screen changed color. Whispers returned. Sharper now. The instructor adjusted the settings. "Remain still," he ordered. She did. The scanner screamed. A sharp sound cut through the hall as red warnings flashed across the screen. Threat indicators rose fast, faster than the system could label them. The instructor stepped back. "That should not be possible," he said quietly. The Earth cadet pulled her hand away. The scanner did not stop. Cadets shifted in their seats. Some stood halfway, unsure. Before anyone could speak, a sharp click echoed from the side wall. The Earth cadet turned her head. She saw the emitter had changed. This was not a demonstration setting. A hidden panel slid open. A small barrel extended, glowing bright blue. A plasma shot fired. There was no time to shout. No time to run. The Earth cadet moved. She stepped forward and raised her hand. The plasma hit her palm. Light exploded across the hall. Heat washed over the front rows. Several cadets screamed. Others froze. The plasma vanished. It did not burn through. It simply died, crushed and pulled apart by her grip. She stood there, arm raised, hand closed. Smoke curled around her fingers. The scanner went silent for half a second. Then it shrieked louder than before. Numbers broke their limits. Bars filled and overflowed. Symbols glitched and repeated. Every cadet stared. The Earth cadet opened her hand. Her skin was red, but unbroken. She lowered her arm slowly. No one spoke. The instructor's mouth opened, but no sound came out. The Earth cadet looked around the hall. Her breathing was calm. Her eyes were steady. This was not part of the lesson, she said. Her voice was clear and even. Security lights flashed. Doors sealed with heavy sounds. Armed officers rushed in from both sides. "Do not move," one shouted. She did not move. The instructor finally found his voice. "Stand down," he said to the officers, though his tone lacked strength. One officer looked at the scanner screen and froze.
"What is that reading?" he whispered. The scanner showed one word over and over.
Unknown. The Earth cadet looked at the instructor. "You wanted to show weakness," she said, "but you aimed a weapon." The instructor swallowed. It was meant to activate at low output. She nodded. It did not. Silence pressed down on the hall. Cadets who once looked bored now looked afraid. Others looked curious. One cadet in the back leaned forward, eyes wide. The instructor took a slow breath. "What are you?" he asked. The Earth cadet did not answer right away. She glanced at the scanner, still screaming. Then she looked at the class. "I am human," she said. And this is what happens when you stop assuming. The scanner finally sparked and shut down. Its surface cracked from overload. No one spoke, and somewhere above the hall, unseen by all of them, a hidden observer smiled and marked a note. The lesson had just begun. The hall was quiet, too quiet. Even the hum of the lights seemed to pause. Cadets stared at the Earth cadet, their faces pale and their eyes wide. Some could not believe what they had just seen. Some feared what might happen next. The instructor's mouth opened and closed like a fish, but no words came. He had expected humans to flinch, to scream, maybe even collapse. But she had caught the plasma shot without hesitation, without pain. Security officers moved cautiously toward her. They carried energy rifles, but their movements were careful, hesitant. The scanner's screen still glowed faintly, flickering red and white. Numbers and symbols swirled, unreadable. The main reading read one word repeatedly: unknown. "Step away from the cadets," one officer ordered, his voice firm but shaking slightly. The Earth cadet did not move. Her eyes followed every officer as they approached. Her hand, still slightly red, was now lowered. She spoke calmly, voice steady. I am not a threat. I will not harm anyone. The officers paused. They had been trained to handle dangerous species, some of which could kill before they could blink. Yet here was a human, standing alone, facing unknown power with no weapons, no armor, no fear. The instructor took a step forward, his hands raised. This was not supposed to happen, he said, though the words lacked authority. It was meant as a controlled demonstration. One cadet from a high balcony shouted disbelief in her voice. How is she still standing? How did she stop it? Another whispered, almost to herself, humans are supposed to be weak. This is impossible. The Earth cadet looked at the cadets. She noticed the fear, yes, but also curiosity. Many had never seen a human up close, and certainly never one like her. She realized they had judged her, assumed her weakness, and were shocked now by reality. I have trained, she said. I am aware of my limits. I am aware of danger. That is what being human is. We survive, and we control what others think is impossible. The instructor frowned. This is dangerous, he muttered. If this escalates, the academy could be in serious trouble. Before anyone could react further, the scanner flickered again. Numbers jumped, higher than before. The red warning bars flashed across the screen, then began to spin wildly. Officers and cadets alike stepped back, uncertain. One officer spoke urgently into his communicator. We need an override. The scanner is unstable. The Earth cadet looked at the device. Her eyes narrowed. She could feel the energy still lingering in the air. It was alive, pulsing. She had been trained to sense energy, to read situations, to act before things became uncontrollable. She stepped closer to the scanner, keeping her movements slow, careful. The officers tensed but did not stop her. Her fingers hovered above the glass surface. The scanner's pulse seemed to slow, as if it recognized her presence. Cadets whispered to each other. She is touching it, one said. What is she doing? The Earth cadet spoke softly, barely audible. You are reading wrong, she said. Everything you think you know about humans is wrong. We are not fragile. We endure. We adapt. We survive. The room was silent, except for the soft hum of the scanner and the occasional hiss of a cooling vent. The instructors and officers exchanged worried glances. This was no longer a demonstration. It was a revelation. From the back of the hall, a young cadet with green-tinted skin leaned forward. He had been skeptical of humans from the beginning. Now he could not look away. His voice shook as he said, She is changing everything we know. The Earth cadet finally stepped back. She turned to face the instructor directly. Your test failed, she said simply. It did not measure strength. It measured assumption. And assumptions are dangerous. The instructor's face flushed. He opened his mouth, closed it, and finally said, We need to analyze this immediately.
Everyone stay calm, cadets whispered, some backing away, others leaning closer to see.
A few stood frozen, unsure if they should follow instructions or run. Fear and awe filled the hall in equal parts. One of the senior officers spoke into a console. We need to secure the hall. No one leaves until this is controlled. The Earth cadet raised her hands slightly, a gesture meant to calm. I will not fight you, she said. I do not want conflict. But I will not be treated as weak, as expendable, or as a test subject. The instructor swallowed, his mind racing. He had seen humans before, studied them from afar, but he had never seen one behave like this. one capable of standing still in front of energy that would kill most species, one that did not flinch, did not scream, did not beg. Cadets began to murmur among themselves. "She is fearless," one said, "or she does not feel pain." Another shook her head. "No, she feels it. She controls it." The Earth Cadet looked around. She saw the fear in some faces, but also the respect forming quietly. They were learning, even without words. Humans were not what the instructors had said. Humans were something different. Something stronger than the scanners could measure. An officer stepped forward, holding a handheld device. He moved toward the Earth Cadet slowly. "We need to check your readings manually," he said. She nodded once, silently allowing him to approach. The officer paused, then placed the device near her arm. Numbers appeared on a small screen. He blinked. His eyes widened. This cannot be real," he whispered. The instructor pressed his lips together, deep in thought. He realized the lesson had already shifted. It was no longer about human weakness. It was about human potential. From the balcony above, a shadow moved. Someone had been watching from above, someone who had not yet revealed themselves. Their gaze was intense. The shadow scribbled a note quickly. Earth was not weak. Earth had power that could not be contained. The Earth Cadet stepped back from the scanner. Her hand still tingled from the plasma. She flexed her fingers slowly, testing herself. She felt no burn, no pain, only control. The cadets continued to watch her. Some whispered to each other, "She is human, yes, but she is more." The instructor cleared his throat. "This concludes the lesson for now," he said, though his voice lacked the authority it had at the start. "Everyone, return to your seats. Remain calm. Security, monitor the cadet closely." The Earth Cadet nodded, taking a single step back toward the front row. She kept her movements smooth and controlled. Some cadets moved closer, curious despite their fear. One reached a hand out to touch the railing, whispering, "I want to understand." "How does she do it?" Another shook his head. "We were taught to underestimate humans. We were wrong." The hall remained tense. The scanner flickered one last time and then powered down completely. The red warnings disappeared. The word unknown vanished from the screen. Cadets leaned forward, waiting for what would happen next. The Earth Cadet remained standing, calm, alert, and ready. She knew this was only the beginning. The lesson had changed from simple measurement to something far greater, a lesson in human capability, in restraint, and in strength hidden behind quiet determination. The instructor finally spoke again, more to himself than anyone else. "Perhaps we have judged too quickly. Perhaps we have been blind." The Earth Cadet's eyes scanned the room. She noticed every whisper, every stare, every gesture of fear and awe. She understood that what she had done was more than stopping a plasma shot. She had changed the perception of humans in this academy, in this station, possibly in the entire galaxy. Outside, in the shadows, the unknown observer made another note. The human was not just strong. She was a warning. And somewhere deep inside the Earth Cadet, a spark of determination grew. She had survived. She had shown control. And now, she would prove that humans could endure far more than anyone expected. The cadets remained silent, every face turned toward her, waiting, uncertain. Fear mingled with respect. Curiosity mingled with awe. The academy had never seen anything like this. and no one, not even the instructor, could predict what would come next. The Earth Cadet breathed slowly, deliberately. She knew that the real challenge was only beginning. The hidden forces that had tested her today would not stop. They would want answers, explanations, and proof. And she would give them proof, but on her terms. The doors remained sealed. Security watched closely. Cadets whispered quietly among themselves. The lesson that had begun as a demonstration of human weakness had turned into a revelation of human potential. Outside the hall, the galaxy continued to turn. But inside, one Earth Cadet had just rewritten what everyone thought they knew. And somewhere far away, a plan began to shift. It had only just begun. The academy was still buzzing, though no one spoke openly. The cadets sat rigidly in their seats, their eyes glued to the Earth Cadet at the front. Some of them still whispered in low tones, trying to make sense of what had just happened. She stood quietly, observing them, her own breathing slow and steady. She did not rush. She did not panic. The instructor paced behind the table, his hands clasped behind his back. His face was pale, his voice quiet. "We need to run the tests again," he said. "We need to know exactly what she is capable of." He paused and looked at the scanner. "But we must be careful. One wrong move could be disastrous." The cadets exchanged uneasy glances. No one had expected this. The human they had been taught to underestimate had changed everything in a single moment. From the back of the hall, a cadet with orange skin and bright yellow eyes stood. He was tall and lean, with long arms and a narrow face. "Sir," he said, his voice firm but nervous, "perhaps we should let her speak first. She survived the plasma shot. Perhaps she knows what she can handle." The instructor nodded slowly. "Very well," he said. "Human, you may demonstrate your abilities voluntarily, but understand this: every action will be measured." The Earth Cadet stepped forward. She did not speak. She placed her hand again over the scanner, letting it hum beneath her palm. The device reacted immediately. Numbers began to rise, but slowly this time. Her presence seemed to calm the sensors. Cadets leaned forward, watching in awe as the readings climbed in unusual patterns. Heart rate stable, reflexes unusually fast, bone density higher than expected, muscle strength steady, unyielding. The scanner could not place her in any category. It had nothing in its database that matched what it measured. One cadet, with green-scaled arms and small horns on his head, whispered, "It is impossible. The system cannot read her. It does not recognize her species. Yet she is human." Another, with smooth gray skin and large dark eyes, shook her head. "I have studied humans for years. I thought I knew their limits. I was wrong." The Earth Cadet opened her eyes, scanning the hall. She could feel their curiosity. She could feel their fear. She understood their disbelief. She had lived with this reaction before. People underestimated humans all the time. That was how humans survived. That was how humans endured. The instructor finally spoke again. "Prepare the next test," he said. He pressed a few controls on the table. Lights dimmed. The temperature in the hall increased slightly. Panels on the wall shifted, revealing hidden compartments. A small, enclosed platform emerged at the center of the hall. The Earth Cadet walked toward it slowly. Cadets leaned closer to watch. The platform was designed for extreme simulations, gravity shifts, energy fields, randomized obstacles. It was meant to push any species to its limits. The instructor gestured toward her. "This is a controlled environment. Step inside. The floor beneath her adjusted to her weight. The walls moved to surround her, creating a circular arena. The cadets watched, silent. Security officers remained outside, ready but cautious. The platform activated. Gravity increased slightly, then more. The Earth cadet did not flinch. She adjusted her stance, grounding herself, muscles coiling, balance perfect. The readings on the scanner jumped again. Muscle tension, bone pressure, heart rate, all within human norms, yet slightly higher than expected. The instructor frowned. "She adapts," he muttered. "She is learning faster than the simulation can predict." The simulation continued. Panels opened on the walls, releasing streams of energy designed to push her reflexes to the maximum. The Earth cadet moved smoothly, stepping aside, adjusting her body, controlling every reaction. The cadets in the hall gasped. They had seen simulations before. They had never seen anyone from any species handle it like this. A cadet in the front row, short and stocky with thick brown skin, whispered, "She is not just surviving. She is mastering it." The Earth cadet's eyes flicked toward the sensors. She could feel the energy streams hitting her body, small scratches burning her skin, but she ignored the pain. Pain was familiar. Pain could be controlled. Pain did not define a human. The instructor's voice grew tense. "Increase difficulty," he ordered. Panels shifted. Energy fields became unpredictable, moving faster, changing directions. Gravity fluctuated more intensely. The Earth cadet adjusted with precision. Not one movement wasted, not one step uncalculated. A young cadet, his skin pale with a tinge of blue, whispered in disbelief, "How is she doing this?" Even the strongest of us would falter. Another shook his head. "It is not strength, it is control. She controls her body, her mind, everything." The Earth cadet reached a central point on the platform. The energy fields intensified, and a new obstacle appeared. A small spinning plasma orb. It moved quickly, changing paths, designed to strike any target instantly. She did not hesitate. She timed her movement perfectly, catching the orb with both hands. The plasma pulsed but did not burn her. She closed her fingers, and the orb dissolved safely in her grip. The cadets in the hall gasped. Some leaned back in disbelief. Others leaned forward, unable to look away. Even the instructor was silent, watching, unable to hide his shock. The simulation continued for several more cycles. Each test pushed her further. Each obstacle challenged her, but she adapted. She anticipated movements, controlled her reactions, and endured conditions that would have broken most species in seconds. Finally, the platform powered down. The walls receded and the floor returned to normal. The Earth cadet stepped off the platform, breathing steadily, her body unharmed. Sweat dotted her brow, but it was minimal. Her uniform was slightly torn, but no injuries were visible. The instructor exhaled slowly. "Remarkable," he said, "beyond any expectations." A cadet in the back, with purple eyes and silver hair, whispered, "She is human. And she is stronger than anything we have seen." Another nodded slowly. "Not just stronger, smarter, faster, more controlled." The Earth cadet faced the class. She did not speak immediately. Bah. She let them absorb what they had witnessed. Then she spoke, voice calm but firm. "Humans survive because we are aware, we endure because we prepare. And we control because we choose to. Strength is not always measured by force. Sometimes it is measured by restraint, by awareness, by will." The cadets looked at her in silence. Some nodded. Some whispered quietly to themselves. Fear had turned into respect. Curiosity had turned into awe. The instructor stepped forward, his mind racing. "We must document this," he said. "Every reaction, every response. We must understand how she does this." The Earth Cadet nodded. She understood. This was the academy. Observation, measurement, and study were part of life here. She allowed them to take notes, to analyze, to question, but she would not allow assumptions. She would not allow underestimation. From the upper balcony, the shadow watched silently. The observer had not revealed themselves yet, but their presence was known. They scribbled another note. Human potential exceeds expectations. Observe closely. The cadets returned to their seats, still whispering. Many could not stop thinking about what they had just witnessed. Some could not believe a human could do so much. Some could not believe the calm and control displayed under extreme conditions. The instructor turned to the Earth Cadet. "You have proven much," he said, "but the lessons are not complete."
We will continue to understand the limits. Are you ready?
"I am ready." The platform was being readied for another simulation. This one would be more complex, combining multiple stress factors, energy fields, gravity shifts, mental puzzles, and physical obstacles. Every cadet in the hall watched, some with fear, some with awe, some with growing respect. The Earth Cadet stepped onto the new platform, adjusting her stance. She could feel the energy in the hall, the tension of the cadets, the anticipation of the instructors. She could sense the challenge ahead. And she was ready. The lights dimmed. Panels moved. Energy streams began to flicker. Gravity shifted again. Obstacles appeared. The cadets leaned forward, holding their breath. The instructor's hand hovered over the controls, uncertain, cautious. The Earth Cadet moved first. Her steps were precise, her reactions faster than expected. She dodged, adapted, controlled. She anticipated every movement, every shift, every challenge. She was not just enduring, she was mastering the simulation. The cadets whispered to each other, unable to hide their amazement. "She is perfect," one said. "No, not perfect," another replied. "She is human and yet beyond us." The instructor watched, speechless. He realized that the lesson had changed completely. It was no longer a simple test of human weakness. It was a demonstration of human potential, human adaptability, and human control. From the shadows, the observer continued to watch. They noted every movement, every decision, every display of power and control. Their message was clear. Humans were not weak, and this one human was a force that could not be ignored. The Earth Cadet continued to move through the simulation, calm, focused, unyielding. The hall was silent except for the hum of the energy fields and the soft beeps of the sensors. Every cadet, every instructor, every officer watched in awe. And as she completed the final obstacle, stepping off the platform without injury, without hesitation, without panic, the truth became clear to all. Humans were not what the galaxy had believed. Humans were stronger, smarter, and more controlled than anyone had anticipated. The lesson had evolved. It was no longer about weakness. It was about recognition. And the Earth Cadet knew this was only the beginning. The hall was tense. Cadets who had once whispered and speculated now sat in stunned silence. Every eye was on the Earth Cadet. She stood at the front, calm, her breathing steady, her posture perfect. Sweat dotted her forehead from the last simulation, but she did not show exhaustion. Her dark hair stuck slightly to the back of her neck, but she did not touch it. Her hands were relaxed at her sides, but every movement was controlled. She was aware of every person in the hall, every cadet, every officer, every observer hidden in the shadows above. The instructor stepped forward slowly. His voice, which had been calm at the start of the day, now trembled slightly. "This has gone far beyond a normal lesson," he said. "We have tested humans before, but never like this. This is extraordinary." Cadets shifted in their seats. Some leaned forward, unable to stop themselves from staring. Others leaned back, uncertainty and fear written on their faces. No one had expected this display. No one had expected that a human could endure, adapt, and control at this level. From the back of the hall, a cadet with violet skin and bright white eyes whispered, "She is not just surviving. She is mastering it. How is this possible?" Another, small and stocky with brown scaled arms, shook his head. "Double. Humans are supposed to be weak. We were taught to underestimate them."
We were wrong. The instructor waved a hand toward the platform at the center of the hall.
"We need a new test," he said. "One that will challenge every part of her. Reflexes, strength, endurance, strategy, everything." The Earth cadet nodded slightly. She understood. She had prepared for this. Every training session, every drill, every calculation she had learned on Earth had led her to this moment. The platform shifted, walls moving to enclose it completely. Gravity began to fluctuate, pressing down heavier than the cadets had ever experienced. Energy panels appeared on the walls, flickering with random streams designed to strike anyone in the chamber. The sensors hummed, recording every movement, every heartbeat, every breath. The Earth cadet stepped onto the platform calmly. She spread her feet slightly, grounding herself. Her fingers twitched only slightly as she adjusted her stance. Her eyes scanned the hall briefly before focusing entirely on the arena in front of her. The first stream of energy fired. She moved smoothly, dodging, twisting, and stepping precisely where the energy was not. The stream fizzled harmlessly against the metal floor. Cadets whispered in astonishment. "She is not reacting. She is predicting," one said. "She knows what is coming before it happens," another added. "This is not possible," he muttered. "Even the most advanced species here would falter." Another wave of energy fired, this time faster and more unpredictable. The Earth cadet adjusted her steps instantly, spinning slightly, bending and leaping over a flickering plasma strike. She landed perfectly, her movements flowing as if she had rehearsed them thousands of times. A cadet with green-tinted skin leaned forward, whispering urgently, "She is not only surviving, she is controlling the simulation." The platform shifted again, introducing obstacles that were meant to disorient and confuse. Panels dropped from the ceiling. Small, moving plasma orbs spun in unpredictable paths. Gravity fluctuated with violent swings. The Earth cadet moved with precision, calculating every movement in her head. She dodged the orbs, caught one and crushed it safely in her grip, and leaped over falling panels without hesitation. She did not flinch, did not panic, did not slow down. Every motion was exact, measured, and deliberate. The cadets watched, eyes wide, unable to look away. The instructor's hand hovered over the controls, unsure whether to increase difficulty or call the simulation off. Every instinct told him that pushing further could be dangerous, but he could not stop. He needed to understand. He needed to see the limits. The simulation continued. The energy streams became more aggressive. Gravity shifted violently. Plasma orbs spun unpredictably. Obstacles dropped from above. The Earth cadet adapted to each change instantly. Her body moved with awareness, her mind anticipating, calculating, responding. She was not just enduring. She was mastering every element of the challenge. A small cadet in the front row whispered, "She is not human, or she is a human unlike any we have ever seen." Another, taller cadet with silver eyes and dark hair shook his head. "She is not just strong. She is controlled. Every move, every reaction, every step, perfect." The platform moved again, this time tilting at dangerous angles. Energy streams fired from the walls in rapid succession. The Earth Cadet adjusted instantly, stepping carefully to maintain balance, bending, twisting, moving with flawless precision. Some leaned back, unable to watch. Others leaned forward, utterly mesmerized. Utterly mesmerized. They had seen simulations before. They had seen species far stronger than humans. None had performed like this. None had mastered a challenge designed to test every limit in seconds. The instructor watched silently. Every word he wanted to speak caught in his throat. This was beyond measurement, beyond expectation, beyond understanding. Ah! The Earth Cadet moved to the center of the platform as the final obstacle appeared. A spinning plasma orb, larger and faster than the previous ones, hovered above her head. Energy streams moved from all directions, converging on her position. The gravity shifted violently, threatening to throw her off balance. She paused for a moment, just long enough to calculate the exact timing. Then she moved. She leaped, twisted her body mid-air, caught the orb with both hands, and crushed it safely. She landed perfectly on her feet, balance intact, and the energy streams fizzled harmlessly around her. The cadets in the hall were silent, unable to comprehend what they had just witnessed. The instructor finally spoke, voice barely audible. She survived everything, and she controlled it all. One cadet whispered, "She is not just strong. She is aware. She sees everything, reacts instantly, and adapts." Another shook her head. "We underestimated humans completely." The Earth Cadet stepped off the platform, breathing steadily, her movements calm and controlled. Sweat dotted her brow, but there were no injuries. Her uniform was slightly torn, but she appeared unscathed. The instructor approached slowly, trying to hide his astonishment. "You have demonstrated abilities beyond any prediction," he said. "We will need to document everything, every movement, every reaction." The Earth Cadet nodded slightly. She understood. Documentation was important in the academy. Observation and study were part of the system. She allowed them to take notes, to analyze, to question, but she would not allow anyone to underestimate her again. From the shadows above, the observer continued to watch, silent and careful. Notes were scribbled quickly. Humans were not weak. Humans could endure and control beyond expectations, and this one human had proven it beyond any doubt. The cadets returned to their seats, whispering quietly. Some were in awe. Some were still in disbelief. Others began to realize that humans were not what the galaxy had believed. The instructor turned to the Earth Cadet. "Prepare for the next stage," he said. "We will introduce a real test of strategy and control. Not just reaction, not just endurance. We will test decision-making under pressure." The Earth Cadet nodded. She understood. This was no longer about showing human strength. This was about proving human intelligence, strategy, and calm under extreme conditions. The hall remained tense. Every cadet watched. Every officer observed carefully. The lesson had evolved from a simple demonstration to a revelation of human potential. And the Earth Cadet was ready. The hall was quiet, but the tension was thicker than ever. Cadets who had once whispered nervously now sat rigid, staring at the Earth Cadet with wide eyes. Some could not believe what had happened over the last few hours. Others had begun to understand that what they had witnessed was not just skill or endurance, it was something far greater. The Earth Cadet stood calmly at the front, her breathing steady, her body relaxed but alert. She scanned the room slowly, reading every expression, every gesture, every whisper. She knew the cadets had questions, and she knew they were afraid. Some were afraid of what humans could do. Others were afraid of themselves for underestimating her. The instructor stepped forward, his face pale and tight.
"We cannot deny it anymore," he said, voice low and careful. "Humans are
Different than we expected, and this one human has shown abilities that surpass anything our records predicted." From the balcony above, a shadow shifted. The hidden observer scribbled another note, unseen by anyone in the hall. The observer's hand moved quickly, recording details and reactions, noting that humans were no longer to be underestimated. The cadets whispered quietly among themselves. "She is not only strong," one said, "she is aware of everything. She calculates, adapts, controls." Another added, "It is not just her body, it is her mind. Her mind guides her body perfectly. Humans are dangerous." The Earth Cadet's dark eyes swept across the hall. She had learned long ago that the galaxy underestimated humans. They judged by appearances, by size, by strength alone. They did not consider endurance, patience, or awareness. They did not understand control, but she understood, and today she had proven it. The instructor pressed his lips together, thinking quickly. "We will move to the next test," he said. "This will be a strategic trial, not just a physical one. The cadets must observe and participate, but the human will take the lead. She must demonstrate decision-making, leadership, and calm under pressure." The Earth Cadet nodded once. She stepped forward toward the central platform, now cleared and prepared for the next stage. The cadets leaned forward, their curiosity and fear mixing into awe. They had watched her survive plasma shots, endure shifting gravity, dodge energy streams, and master the simulation. Now they were about to see her mind at work under pressure. The platform activated. The walls shifted, forming a labyrinth-like arena. Energy fields moved unpredictably through the corridors. Panels fell from the ceiling, forcing constant adjustment. The gravity fluctuated in sudden bursts. The objective was simple to describe, but impossible to master. Reach the central point while avoiding all obstacles and energy streams. Retrieve a data device and energy streams. Every movement would be measured, every decision noted. The Earth Cadet studied the arena for a moment, her eyes narrowing slightly. She calculated distances, timings, angles. She visualized every possible path. She considered every obstacle, every energy stream, every panel that could fall. Her mind worked quickly, deliberately, quietly. She did not rush. She waited, analyzing before acting. Cadets whispered among themselves. "She is planning," one said. "She is not running blindly." "She is calculating," another added. "Even the fastest species would hesitate, but she moves with certainty." The Earth Cadet stepped forward carefully, moving into the labyrinth. Her steps were precise, her balance perfect. The first energy stream fired. She adjusted instantly, stepping aside, twisting, moving with grace and efficiency. A panel fell nearby, but she anticipated it, dodging easily. She moved through the corridors like a shadow, quiet, controlled, deliberate. From the balcony, the hidden observer's pen moved quickly across a pad. The observer noted timing, control, adaptation, decision-making. Humans were more capable than any had predicted, and this human was extraordinary. The instructor's voice was calm, but his tone was tinged with disbelief. "Watch carefully," he said to the cadets. "Observe how she adapts. This is not just a test of strength or endurance. This is a test of awareness and leadership." The Earth cadet reached a central chamber. The data device hovered above a small pedestal surrounded by spinning energy orbs. Gravity shifted sharply, threatening to throw her off balance. She paused for only a second, recalculating angles, timing, and movements. Then she leaped forward, catching the data device with both hands, shielding it as the spinning orbs passed by harmlessly. She adjusted her footing instantly as the gravity shifted again. Cadets gasped. "She predicts everything," one whispered. "She moves before it happens. It is like she can see the future." The Earth cadet did not rush her return. She knew the path back required patience as well as speed. She adjusted her movements to avoid detection by sensors, timing energy streams, dodging falling panels, and using every advantage in the labyrinth. Her mind remained calm, her body precise. She was not just surviving, she was mastering the trial completely. A group of cadets in the front row leaned forward, unable to look away. "She is leading herself," one whispered. "She is guiding her own path, predicting every obstacle, controlling everything." Another added, "And she is teaching us without speaking. We see, we understand, we fear, we respect." The instructor's hand hovered over a control panel, hesitating. He realized that interfering would ruin the observation. He had to let the Earth cadet complete the trial alone. The results would be more valuable if left uninterrupted. The Earth cadet reached the exit corridor. Energy streams moved faster now. Panels dropped more frequently. Gravity shifted violently. She adjusted continuously. Every movement smooth, controlled, deliberate. She used small leaps, twists, and precise steps to avoid hazards. Every second was calculated, every action measured. A cadet with blue-tinted skin whispered, "Even the fastest of us would fail. She is unstoppable." Another muttered, "It is not speed, it is control. She controls everything. Her mind and body are one." The Earth cadet finally reached the hall's entrance, data device in hand. She stepped off the platform smoothly, her uniform intact, her breathing calm, her eyes alert. The cadets were silent, watching every move. Some could not believe what they had witnessed. Others were beginning to understand that humans were not what they had been taught to expect. The instructor exhaled slowly. "Remarkable," he said, "beyond all expectations. She has demonstrated control, strategy, and awareness far beyond anything in our records." Cadets whispered quietly, awe and fear mingling. "She is not just a human," one said. "She is something more." Another nodded slowly. She is proof that humans cannot be underestimated." The Earth cadet faced the class, holding the data device carefully. She did not speak immediately. She let the silence settle. Then she said, voice calm but firm, "Humans survive because we are aware. We endure because we prepare. We control because we choose. Strength is not always measured by force. Sometimes it is measured by understanding, patience, and decision." The cadets remained silent, absorbing her words. Some nodded slowly, others whispered quietly to each other. Fear had turned into respect. Curiosity had turned into awe. From the shadows above, the observer made another note. Humans were not weak. Humans could endure, control, and master challenges far beyond expectation. And this one human was the proof. The instructor turned to the Earth Cadet. "You have proven more than we could have imagined," he said. "But this is only the beginning. There will be further observation, further trials. Are you prepared?" The Earth Cadet nodded once, deliberately. "I am ready," she said. "I will demonstrate what humans are capable of, and I will do so on my terms." The hall remained tense. Every cadet watched, some with awe, some with fear, some with growing respect. The Earth Cadet's presence had changed everything. She had survived extreme tests, mastered a complex simulation, and demonstrated strategy and control under pressure. And she knew that what was coming next would be even greater. The hidden observer above the hall scribbled rapidly. Humans were no longer to be underestimated. Earth had potential that the galaxy had not yet realized, and this human would show it. The Earth Cadet adjusted her stance, calm, alert, ready for what would come next. The cadets remained silent, every eye on her, every mind racing with questions. Fear, respect, and awe filled the room. The lesson was far from over, and she was ready to teach it. The Academy Hall was silent, heavy with anticipation. Every cadet, every officer, every instructor waited, uncertain of what was about to happen. The Earth Cadet stood at the front, her posture calm and controlled, her eyes scanning every face in the room. She carried herself with quiet authority, though she had no rank, no badge, no symbol of power. Yet everyone there felt it, an undeniable presence that demanded attention, respect, and caution. The instructor stepped forward, his voice low and careful. "We have seen what humans can endure. We have seen what this human can achieve under pressure, under threat, under extreme conditions. But the final test is before us. This will measure not just strength or endurance, not just awareness or strategy, but the ability to influence, to lead, and to protect." Many had witnessed the Earth Cadet survive plasma shots, master simulations, and maneuver through deadly labyrinths with precision. But leadership? Influence? That was something entirely different. That required more than skill. It required vision, understanding, and courage. The Earth Cadet stepped onto the central platform, now expanded into a larger arena designed to simulate real combat conditions. Gravity shifts, energy hazards, and unpredictable obstacles filled the chamber. A team of cadets from different species would participate, but only if she could guide them effectively. They were trained, yes, but none had faced challenges of this intensity before. The platform hummed as the environment activated. Gravity increased sharply, then fluctuated, forcing everyone to adjust. Energy fields sparked across the arena, moving with unpredictable patterns. Panels dropped from the ceiling. Obstacles shifted constantly. The cadets participating hesitated, unsure how to proceed. The Earth Cadet's eyes flicked over them, and she understood instantly. They were scared, confused, and waiting for guidance. She raised her hands slightly, a gesture of control and command. "Stay calm," she said, voice steady. "Focus. Move only when I move. Watch, listen, and react carefully. Together, we succeed. Separate, we fail." The cadets nodded slowly, their expressions a mix of fear and awe. They had seen her endure and control impossible challenges alone, but now they were part of the trial. She would lead them. The arena shifted again. Gravity tilted sharply. and an energy barrier appeared ahead. Panels fell from the ceiling, forcing rapid adjustment. The Earth Cadet moved first, stepping carefully, calculating each foot placement. The cadets followed, hesitant at first, then adjusting to her rhythm. She guided them with precise movements and quiet instructions. A plasma orb spun toward them from the right. She gestured sharply, signaling cadets to step aside. They moved just in time, landing safely as the orb passed. Another obstacle dropped from above. She called out, and the cadets adjusted mid-air, landing without injury. From the hall, spectators whispered in disbelief. "She is leading them," one said. "She is not just surviving. She is controlling the team, the environment, everything." Another added, "Even the most advanced species here could not manage this. Humans, we underestimated them." The instructor nodded slowly, unable to hide his amazement. "Observe every move," he said. "This is not just a test of strength. This is a demonstration of leadership under extreme conditions. Under extreme conditions. Under extreme shifted again, introducing multiple threats at once. Energy streams crossed paths with falling panels. Gravity swung violently. The cadets struggled to maintain balance and coordination, but the Earth Cadet adjusted with ease. She guided them through the chaos, anticipating threats, signaling moves, and ensuring safety. She moved with precision, grace, and control. Cadets whispered among themselves. "She sees everything," one said. "Every obstacle, every hazard, every risk. She predicts it before it happens." Another added, "And she keeps others alive, not just herself, but everyone." "That is incredible." The Earth Cadet reached the central chamber of the arena, where the data device hovered, guarded by spinning energy orbs and fluctuating gravity. She signaled the cadets to cover her flanks, guiding them to positions of safety and advantage. Then she moved forward, timing each step with careful calculation. She leaped, twisting her body mid-air, and caught the device safely. The energy orbs fizzled harmlessly around her as she adjusted to the shifting gravity. The cadets followed, moving precisely as she had guided them. Not one was injured, not one fell. From the balcony, the hidden observer scribbled rapidly. Humans were not weak. Humans could endure, control, predict, and lead. This one human had demonstrated abilities far beyond expectation. The Earth Cadet turned back to her team. "Good work," she said quietly. "Stay calm. Focus. We return together." The platform shifted again for the return path, introducing new hazards. The cadets moved under her guidance, dodging energy streams, adjusting to gravity swings, and avoiding falling panels. She called out instructions, timed movements, and corrected their positions. Slowly, steadily, they made their way back. Cadets in the hall whispered in astonishment. "She is teaching without words," one said. "We see, we understand, we fear, we respect." The instructor's voice trembled slightly as he addressed the observers.
We have underestimated humans. Completely.
This is beyond any previous knowledge or record. The Earth Cadet guided the team to the exit point. The platform deactivated, the walls receded, and gravity normalized. All cadets emerged unharmed. Some breathed heavily from exertion, but none were injured. They looked at the Earth Cadet with a mixture of awe, respect, and disbelief. The instructor approached, carefully keeping his voice calm. "You have proven far more than expected," he said. "Strength, endurance, awareness, strategy, leadership, all demonstrated beyond prediction. The Academy will study this for years. You have changed how we understand humans." The Earth Cadet nodded slightly. Humans survive because we are aware. We endure because we prepare. We control because we choose. Strength is measured by understanding, not just force. Leadership is measured by patience, foresight, and care for others. That is what we demonstrate. The cadets whispered among themselves, some nodding slowly, others still in disbelief. She is not just a human, one said. She is a warning and a lesson. Another added, Earth is not weak. And humans, they are not to be underestimated. From the shadows, the hidden observer made one final note. Humans were not weak. Humans endured, controlled, predicted, and led. And this one human had proven it to the galaxy. The Earth Cadet adjusted her stance, calm, alert, and ready for whatever came next. She had survived every challenge, mastered every obstacle, and guided others safely through impossible conditions. She had proven human strength, endurance, awareness, strategy, and leadership. The Academy had learned its lesson. The galaxy had learned its lesson. And the Earth Cadet knew that this was only the beginning. Every eye in the hall followed her as she stepped down from the platform. Fear, respect, and awe mingled in the room. Cadets whispered quietly, officers took notes, and instructors observed carefully. She had survived, endured, adapted, and led. And she had changed the perception of humans forever. The doors to the hall remained closed, but the message was clear. Earth was not weak. Humans were patient. Humans endured. Humans endured. Humans controlled. And humans had limits. And when those limits were reached, the galaxy would understand the true power of humanity. The Earth Cadet's dark eyes scanned the room one last time. She nodded slightly to the instructors, to the cadets, and even to the observers hidden in the shadows. Her voice, calm but firm, broke the silence. Remember this. Humans are not what you expect. And under pressure, we act. Always. The hall remained silent. Cadets and instructors alike absorbed the lesson, stunned, impressed, and afraid. They had witnessed history. They had witnessed a human not just survive, but dominate every test, every simulation, and every challenge. Outside the Academy, signals were already reaching human space. A warning, a revelation, a message to the galaxy. Underestimate Earth, and you risk everything. The Earth Cadet adjusted her uniform, straightened her posture, and turned toward the main doors. The lesson was over, but the galaxy had just begun to learn. And somewhere, far beyond the stars, observers noted, patience is a human strength, and patience has limits.